Okay, thanks everyone for joining us for the information session for the Capital Region New York Business Plan Competition, the 12th annual. Just want to give a shout out to our presenting sponsor, who's Sunmark Credit Union, and the host, who's the school business at the University at Albany, and also the supporting organizations that I devote the majority of my time on is the UAlbany Innovation Center and Innovate 518. So my name's Maria Pigeon. I'm the Associate Director of Community and Economic Development at UAlbany. Also, just want to make everyone aware that all the information that we go over today and the presentation, the slide deck that I'm presenting, all of this will be posted. And so anyone who was registered for the event will get an email with a link to the information, but also we'll put it out there that it's been posted for every one of you, for those who couldn't make it. Okay, so what we're going to go over today, I'm just going to give a quick background and some important information for you to know about the competition. I'm going to go through it pretty quickly, just because all of the information is out there. It's on the NYBPC website. It's on our website at University at Albany. So this is just really some stuff I just wanted to point out so you're aware of. But we really wanted you to see some past winners and kind of get their take on how the competition went, and give you some important information, things to maybe keep in mind and look out for. And then there's going to be a pitch prep session that Rick Neff from Blackstone Launchpad at UAlbany, Bob Manasier from Innovate 518 and the UAlbany Innovation Center, and Bill Wales will participate in. And then we'll just go over any questions that you might have. So a little bit of background on the competition. Really, the point of the competition is that it's a way that students can really develop their ideas, develop a business plan, really get you excited about being a potential entrepreneur. It's a way to really look at your idea or your product or service and transform that into something that can be a reality. So it provides you with the tools, the funding, and the resources to really be able to do that, whether it's through your college or university, whether it's with UAlbany or any of the other many resources that are out there for you guys. So we hope to motivate and inspire students from colleges and universities across the Capital Region. So this isn't just focused on the University at Albany. We're the host, but really it's for all of the participating, all the regional colleges and universities. So the 12th annual competition, like I said, is hosted by UAlbany, the UAlbany School of Business in particular, and it's going to take place on April 9th. It's a virtual event, so it's not going to be a live event like we held due to the pandemic. But the deadline, which we'll go over the timeline, is April 9th for all students to submit their applications. So the regional and the state level business plan competition, again, those are both virtual events. I'll go over the timeline for the state competition as well. And then, as many of you probably already know, so it's the top two winning teams from each track, and there's 6 tracks. And those are listed again in the student guide and on the website. But the 2 top winning teams from each track go to the state competition, which is taking place on May 7th. And again, I'll go through the timeline for that. So students participating in the regional and state competitions may enter individually or with a team. So that's one important thing I wanted to note. You don't have to be part of a team. It can be just you that's applying. And then at the regional level, with support from UAlbany, we are able to provide prizes. Those will be awarded to the winners of each track and to a Capital Cup, which is the overall winner of the regional competition. So those amounts are to be determined. We'd hopefully would like to provide what we provided last year and more, but again, those are to be determined based on sponsorships. So interested students should apply to compete in the competition based on location of their school. So if you're located in the capital region, you apply for the capital region competition. If you're located outside of the capital region, you will apply to whatever host of the regional school you are part of for that region. So each region has their own competition, and all the different regions are laid out on the New York State Business Plan competition website. But I think everyone on this call is a regional school. So you will, when you see that drop down, that's what you're going to select is the capital region competition. And all students, so whether you're an individual or a team, will fill out one unified application. So one per team. Whether again it's your team or it's just you individually, and that this is the link that you apply. It's open now, so if you want to, apply ahead of time, you don't have to apply now. You can wait till the last minute, but it will be open until April 9th for the capital region for you to submit. So like I said before, the competition is divided into 6 categories. They're called tracks. And it's like that for all levels of the competition. So for the regional and for the state competition. This year, this is something different. Students select one or more category tags. So in the past, we had students select the track that they think that they should be in. But some students picked, tracks that they maybe fit better in other tracks. So this year, what the business plan competition has at the state level is these tags that you can select one or more of, and they will align you with the track that best suits you based on your industry, based on your product, your service. And those student teams or individual team will be informed of their track assignment prior to the competition. All tracks are judged according to the same criteria, same rubric. This is at the regional level and also at the state level. And that criteria is on the website. I'm not going to go through it all, but you can see, and you should use this when you formulate and think about what your pitch and your submission will look like. So for the submission, each team will submit a link to the pitch video, a slide deck, which is your PowerPoint presentation, and an executive summary as part of the application. So you'll go through, fill out the application, and these are the things that you're going to include. The video, no longer than 7 minutes. So typically we see presentations that are 5 to 7 minutes in length. Judges won't view anything past 7 minutes. So please try to keep it to that time frame. And then to best align with judge expectations and the judging rubric, students should create a simple and clear presentation rather than try to fit in a ton of graphics or, other kind of video things. They're really just going to base it on what you're presenting. So it's going to be your presentation, your PowerPoint, and you presenting that PowerPoint. Slide deck should be in PDF or PowerPoint format. And then the specific presentation and content requirements, like I said, with the judge's rubric is all on the website. So make sure to take a look at that, see what's required, see what you should be including. There's some sample presentations on the website. There's some sample executive summaries that could really be helpful, and sample presentations, folks actually presenting on there. So these are some really great resources. I don't know if Rick and Bob and Bill might tell you about some more resources that would be good for you guys to look into. But the New York State Business Plan competition, New York State, Upstate Capital has put together this really great resource. It's a mentorship program. So you go on there, you schedule time to meet with a mentor based on your schedule, whenever that is. And they can provide some really good feedback. So I encourage everyone to look at that and see what they're offering. Another great resource, whatever university or college you're part of, their entrepreneurship programs. So I know Siena has the Stack Center. RPI has the Severino Center. Those are really great resources for you. So if your college or university doesn't have an entrepreneurship program or anywhere to go to, you can always reach out to us and we can help with that. Also the UAlbany School of Business website, the NYBPC website, again, like I said, sample presentations, resources, all that stuff is on there to help. And then there's local entrepreneurship business support organizations. Those are great places to look for guidance and mentorship. And then online. I mean, I know everyone knows how to do a search and look for resources online about business plans, developing a pitch, doing customer discovery. So you can just look online and there's just a plethora of information out there to help you guys. So quickly, I'll go through the timelines for the regional and for the state competition. So Friday, April 9th is, again, the student deadline. You have to submit the application form by midnight on April 9th. Wednesday, April 21st, we're going to announce the first and second place track winners. During the 9th and the 21st, we have the judges who review the submissions and we meet and we talk about them. So that's why there's that time frame in between. And then Friday, April 23rd, we're going to send you the so judges have to fill out a form and they provide feedback for the teams. So we'll send you that feedback. So we encourage you to update your presentations based on the feedback, just because it's, you know, these are folks who are, you know, stakeholders in entrepreneurship, and they, you know, really, really do provide some really great feedback. And then after you've updated your presentation, final videos and decks are due to the state business plan competition on April 25th. And then we do kind of a grand prize winner for the region, and it's called the Capital Cup. So we will announce that on the 28th. Both these timelines, again, can be found on the websites. The state final, again, submission for final videos and slide decks is April 25th. April 28th through May 3rd is the judges review for the state competition. Tuesday, May 4th, they do judge deliberation and they choose the top teams and the tracks are notified. And then Wednesday, May 5th, they do special prize decisions made by the sponsors of the competition. And then there's kind of more live interaction on Friday, May 7th with track rooms and pitches, live judge deliberation. And then they do a finals event and award announcements. Okay, so now you get to actually hear from two folks, Yumi, who is from Empower You Virtual Reality. She was the first place technology and entertainment track winner for 2019. That's her holding up her big check. And she was the Capital Cup overall grand prize winner as well. And then Bailey Ryan from Viewer, he was the 2020 first place technology and entertainment track winner. So they're just gonna go through some information for you, things that you should keep in mind and just their experiences. So I'm gonna hand it over to Yumi.
Hi, so I'm going to share my screen really quick. I'm just going to do a quick presentation. Sorry, I have two screens up, so can everyone see that? Okay, awesome. So I'm not going to go into like my whole life history, but there's kind of the entrepreneurship part. But so I actually started entrepreneurship in a classroom, which, you know, is kind of not common, I feel like, but I actually sat in a marketing professor's class and I basically took a ton of notes. And all of a sudden, you know, this opportunity presented itself where after doing and teaching Taekwondo for over 10 years, I was offered the opportunity to teach and own my own school along with my partner. And so I thought it was a great idea. I was all about it. I was so excited just to come up with your own curriculum. It's like the dream, right? And So I actually talked to my marketing professor, and I was like expecting them to be like, "Oh, this is so awesome, like you should go for it, like this is great." And I actually had like my first big no, which we hear in entrepreneurship a lot. And my professor basically said, you're a young girl, like go party, go have fun, like don't dwell on this, like this is silly, like don't do it. And I mean, I bawled. Like, I was screaming in the car, like, "I can't believe you said that to me. Is he right?" Like, and so I basically, my life, I've always come down to, is it a can't or a won't decision? Can I really not do it, or am I just not gonna do it? And so we decided to push through, and the opportunity was not great. We were in the back of a gym. I mean, it was in like the back of a rundown gym. It was like an older gym. We didn't have lights. Like the lights are literally emergency lights. And the lights were constantly flickering. It was like 1,000 square foot, so it's like a quarter of the size that we have now. But it's where we started, and I think that's really important to reflect because now we're in a 4,000 square foot space with all natural light. Like it's just windows on windows. But so that's where I started. I literally sat in the classroom and I split my notebook in half, just a straight line down the middle. And I would take notes on, the things that I was getting tested on in class. But then I would draw a straight arrow. Okay, this is what I'm going to do this week. So I literally walked through my first marketing and my first entrepreneurship class, just applying all the concepts, but then I put it into my real business. And so I think the biggest thing with the business plan competition is a lot of it is theory, right? It's everything that we're being taught and, the business model canvas and the business plan, but that doesn't mean anything until you actually apply it. So I started with Risen, and now, we survived COVID, and we have over 100 families with our program, and we have national champions. We work with like the police to teach self-defense. We work with the police to teach anti-bullying programs. So there's just, a lot that we've been able to accomplish through that. And I think the coolest thing that's happened recently was we actually inspired one of our students to kind of start her own business. So she's actually making bags for birthday gifts for kids who might not be able to afford birthday presents. So they'll get like a cake and balloons. So she's running that, and she's been quite successful with it. So that's pretty exciting. But then through that, obviously in my entrepreneurship class, we talked a lot about starting different businesses. So we probably went through like 2 or 3 different ones. So I started Snow More, which was No More Snow. So we started because my parents' driveway is like, it's a straight downhill. Like if you love sledding, like that is the place to be. But one day he was shoveling and all of a sudden he just slips and you just know like something broke, like something happened. And so we wanted to create a modular mat. So mats that basically piece together to melt snow off the driveway without, digging up the entire driveway to put something underneath or to put salt or to shovel or to snow blow or plow. So with that, I was able to place second place in the advanced technology track in 2018. And then fast forward to 2019, I actually went into the Ignite U Accelerator program. So if you guys are serious about your business and you guys are operating, that's definitely a program to look into. But after going in there, I think I was in there for 2 or 3 weeks with Snow More, and then all of a sudden I was like, this isn't working. Like it's not making sense to me. I can't do it on my own. And so I pivoted and I started Empower You Virtual Reality because I feel like the power of actually making mistakes is so big. So what we created is actually a virtual reality program to train referees in Taekwondo for Taekwondo tournaments. So with refereeing, the biggest thing, I know the Super Bowl just happened. The biggest thing is safety, but also fairness. And that's really hard to practice in theory. It has to be actually something that you experience. Because when you have that split second to make a decision of, who has the ball or, who scored that point, it affects not only the game, but it affects the athletes and their results, their hard work and everything. So So that was actually out of another pivot, was supposed to be a self-defense program in VR, but it's really hard to teach self-defense in VR. So that's on the back burner for now. But so that's kind of my journey. I was able to be awarded the Capital Cup, Capital Region Cup in 2019. I actually thought I completely like lost. So I'm waiting for my name to be called, and I'm just sitting there. I'm like, it's it. Like that's another year of just like I just didn't do well, and it is what it is. And but then when they called my name, it was like not only just like the like epitome of all your work, but it was validation that maybe I was doing something right. So my biggest takeaways from the business plan competition is you gotta pivot, right? So pivot, pivot, pivot. When your professors or when you do your customer discovery, which you should definitely do, I definitely pushed back on that when I started. You have to really listen, and it's okay to be scared, and it's okay to be wrong, and it's okay to make a decision and then stick with it and try to figure out if that's right. Because I think that shows that it's not that you don't know what you're doing, it shows that you care about why you're doing it. So pivot, really listen to your customers, really make sure you're listening to the right customers. And I think the biggest way you can do that is to really listen and filter. So not just to your customers, but also to your mentors, the people that are around you. Really network and find the people that should be on your team, because one, you need people on your team. And then two, you also need people that are experienced, that know what they're doing to support you, because at some point you're going to hit a wall and you're going to need somebody to pull you through that wall, or at least to guide you through. Or and I actually talked to Bob a lot about this, but can you guys hear me? Oh, sorry. I talked to Bob a lot about this, but sometimes you meet people that have made the mistakes that you're going to make. So those people can pull you off the edge before you fall off it. And I think the biggest thing that I struggled with was I was so easily discouraged, and I was always like, am I doing okay? But you have to be your biggest cheerleader, because there's so many people and there's so many reasons to say, no, I can't do this. So at some point you have to say, okay, can't or won't, right? So just be your biggest cheerleader, own that stage, don't panic. Just know that you know what you're doing and really present it, because you have to be the one to convince the judges. You have to be the one to convince your stakeholders and your customers. So if you can't do that and you can't back your own business and your own ideas, it's not going to go anywhere. But I've had a really great experience with the business plan competition. It's not just this fake idea, it's really a way to make it come to life. And the people that are behind it are 100% behind you, and 100% behind helping you develop the skills to be successful in establishing your business and your. There it is. But that's it for me. Hopefully I was able to help. Hopefully I was able to maybe motivate some of you guys if you hit a roadblock, and that's it. But thank you.
Thanks,
And thank
Yumi.
you for the opportunity.
Thank you. That was great. Very, a lot of good insight and very inspirational. Thank you. Bailey.
Hello, can you guys hear me? Yep.
Yes.
All right, so I'm Bailey Ryan. I kind of wanted to, first give you an introduction to who I am, and then I broke down what I want to talk about into a few pieces. What was helpful in this preparing and working in these competitions, what improved year over year. I competed in this competition for 3 years and didn't win until my last time. How this has helped me leaving school and in a 9-to-5 right now, and resources I just want to share with anybody looking to go into these competitions. So a little bit about me. I started Viewer in 2017. It was a crazy mess. I'm not going to just even get in to describe what it was. It was too complicated. We didn't do any customer discovery. We sat in our dorm rooms and thought, hey, this idea is awesome. We're going to win everything. And that just wasn't true. And it slowly pivoted and moved into something that was worth winning things. And that was with the help of Rick, Bob, and everybody at UAlbany. And then moving into my graduate at RPI with even more help from them, where we really began to see success and some tractions. So let's just dive into with the first couple of things I thought were helpful. One, being a college student and having these programs is amazing. I mean, you're in college, that's the biggest incubator. Now you may have like, oh, I have class, I have this, I have that. Okay, you're gonna do class, but you're also taking your education into your own hands. So when I was at UAlbany, I was a cybersecurity major. I minored in business, but there really wasn't that much business education. And being able to leave class and work on something that I was super passionate about really gave me the drive to not only kick ass at that, but also get my grades better too, because I was just working all the time and trying to improve and get better and better. And then, in college, there's way more resources that you'll have than you'll have when you leave. Just think about the Severino Center at RPI, the Blackstone Launchpad at UAlbany, and whatever other programs you have in your schools. I know most schools have them. It's incredible to just have an office to go to. I know if you talk to Rick, I was in the Blackstone Launchpad office every day, just going there and annoying Rick with questions, but you're only there for a finite amount of time. So use those resources. As Yumi said, they will provide you with insight so you don't have to fail the same way others did. And you still may, but you can learn from that. And you're gonna do things in these competitions that most people won't do. I mean, you can learn entrepreneurship in a classroom, but in marketing, they don't talk about customer discovery. They don't talk about going out, okay, this is your ideal customer, go talk to them. What's not your ideal customer, go talk to them. Maybe that the ideal customer is not the ideal customer. Go out and talk to them before you sink any money into it. And you learn from actually doing it and going out and talking. You're just talking to people. It can get you so far. Sending a cold message on LinkedIn. I got in touch with the CTO of Vimeo by just sending a cold intro on LinkedIn. I'm not going to tell you how many cold intros I sent and didn't get an email back, but you got to send them to get a response. And it forces you also to do things to get out of your comfort zone. I mean, I didn't want to go talk to all these people. I didn't want to go send all these messages, but getting out of your comfort zone is the only way to grow. And it also forces you to have difficult conversations with friends, these competitions, because you're going to be pushing each other further and further if you're a good team together. And that's a great skill to have, to be able to be radically candid with one another and think, hey, we're in this to build something bigger than us, is incredible to do and to be a part of. So the next thing I wanted to talk about, so those were kind of, what was helpful preparing for this competition year over year, but I really want to talk about what improved over year. Now, that stuff was helpful, but what actually improved? First thing that improved was the team. I mentioned I started this with a friend in a dorm room. We just sat in the dorm room, we worked, and didn't get us anywhere. But being able to find people to add to the team that pushed me every single day, and we're saying, no, we're meeting right now. We're going to sit here for hours and hours, and we're going to talk about one goal. We're just going to dissect one goal we have and make it a SMART goal or make it better, is tremendously helpful. Next is KPIs. I mean, you want to pick things. If you're going to be working on this, you want to see that you're improving. One of our big KPIs was response rates to cold emails. Are we workshopping them? Are we getting response? What's the point of sending this if we're not improving? And Bob was really helpful with this with business development in making sure that we are looking at what we're sending and getting the response and analyzing the responses and changing what we're sending. And goal setting. You can say, I want to have this web page up by next week, but the goal shouldn't be the result. It should be the action. Focus on what you're doing to make this goal happen. The goal shouldn't be, let me get a 30% response rate. The goal should be, let me send 100 emails every day. Let me send 100 emails every week. And then analyze your response rate, because make your goal something that you can control. And then as Yumi said, customer discovery. Like, I was the same way when we first started. I don't want to talk to the customer. I know the problem. I'm familiar with it. I experience it every day, but it's not true. The ideal customer that we had in the beginning was not the ideal customer that we ended with. And we would have probably never have gotten to that point if we didn't actually go out and talk to people. And all of this, like what improves year over year, by doing all this, it adds to your confidence and it makes you be able to pitch better, speak better, go feel more confident in a room with people you don't know and be able to put yourself out there. And then one thing, Bob had sent me an email about today in prepping is how this has helped me in my life today. So I still work on side projects and entrepreneurial dreams, but how does this help me like in my 9 to 5? Because a lot of what you're going to do here, whether you're successful or you're not as successful with an idea, it's all helpful. Everything you do will put you in a place to succeed. You're going to learn how innovation is embraced, how you need to go talk to people about it. Like right now, I'm a business analyst where we work on new feature development, and you're going to learn that some companies value innovation differently. And you just have to realize, let me go talk to my main users. What do they want? And let me make their life easier. And then the final thing I wanted to share was resources that I wish I knew about way, way earlier. I'll say them here and then I'll type them out in the chat. The first is bubble.io. If you're anything like me, I'm not a coder. So how am I going to build my app? Am I going to go find a partner? Good luck. It's really, really hard to find someone who wants to match your enthusiasm when you don't have as much startup capital. I didn't have enough money to pay a coder, so let me go bring on a partner. But bubble.io is a visual programming platform. It is so easy. I don't want to say so easy. You got to put some time into it, but it's well worth the time you put into it. Next is Asana. Once you start building out your teams, you want to make sure you're staying on track. Like I said, these SMART goals are so important: specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and timely. Make sure your goals are specific. You can measure them and they're doable. Asana helps you put everything in one platform. You can share it amongst your team. It works in Slack if you use that, and it can build Gantt charts based on timetables. Next is Strategizer. These are the people that came up with the business model canvas and the lean model canvas. You can look at the business model canvas 100 times and still have questions on I don't fully understand a channel. Well, go right to the horse's mouth. Go to Strategizer, and the descriptions are great, and you can read through them and really analyze if you're doing this right. And then finally, Canvanizer to build the business model canvases and value prop canvases. They're all those 4 resources were instrumental in helping me grow this to what it was. And it's just an awesome experience. If you're interested in any of these competitions, I just suggest go do it. If not now, when are you going to do it? You're going to leave college, you're going to get a job, and it only gets harder. So by doing it now, you set yourself up for success. And hey, if nothing else from it, it's a resume booster. Put it on your resume and you will do things that your peers in the same classroom as you would have wished they had done. So that's all I really had. Happy to reach out if any of you guys want to talk or anything, go over pitches or whatever it is. I'm always happy to help. So thank you guys for the opportunity. And like I said, I'll put all those links in the chat right now.
Great. Thanks so much, Bailey. That was great information, good insight, good resources. So now we are going to have Bill Wales. Well, Bill and Bob will be there to answer any questions, but Rick Neff, he's the entrepreneur in residence at Blackstone Launchpad at the University at Albany. He's going to do a pitch prep presentation. So let me stop sharing and then.
For the intro.
Sorry.
All right. So as Maria said, are we recording?
Yeah.
All right. So as Maria said, I'm the entrepreneur in residence for Blackstone Launchpad at UAlbany. I help students like Bailey with customer discovery, business model development, pitch prep for these competitions and for our own competition. So what I'm going to run through here is the business pitch, the slide deck guide that Upstate Capital put out a few years ago. I don't think it's changed since then. And then I have my own notes on here as well to help you out with little tips and tricks to make it a better pitch deck. So back then it was a 10-minute presentation. Now it's only 7 minutes. So you're going to have to cut this down. So this is an overall pitch deck, and you need to choose what you're going to include, what you're not going to include. So you can't include everything that I show you here, but you need to include what fits your pitch deck best to get that 7-minute mark. Also, I suggest using widescreen format, although they show it in 4:3 format. I'm not sure why, but when you're on a computer, widescreen format shows it better. And on the monitors at the universities that they used to show them on, widescreen also shows better. So please use widescreen format, not 4:3. So a few recommendations that they recommended were 10 slides. Some of those slides or topics you can break up into 2 slides if you need to. They say 1 minute a slide. So again, if you're doing 7 minutes, you might want to cut that down to 7 or 8 slides. Not too many technical slides. Remember, this is a business plan competition, not an invention competition. The technology doesn't matter as much as the product or service and the market. And then always back up your claims with data, which we're going to get into as well, with traction and customer discoveries and research. So first off, include on your slides your logo and your company names. As you see here, I have Blackstone Launchpad, Center for Student Entrepreneurship at UAlbany on here. Create your own slide deck template and use that. Have the name of the event on there so it shows that it's unique slide deck to this event. Have your slide number so you can easily reference it going back. Have the date and put all this onto a template and use it over and over again. Makes it a lot easier. So as Maria mentioned before, don't use videos. Videos generally do not work for some reason when presenting, but you can use automatic animations. So if you have a logo or an image, you can just click a button and more images will pop up. It's a good way to show a progress of something. I actually prefer using a GIF image, which is a free online image tool. So you can create GIFs from any videos that you want, and it shows a great way to demo your product. So you are doing this presentation for a reason. You want it to be memorable and you want it to elicit a response. All right. One way to do that is relating to the judges in the audience. So ask a question, tell a powerful story. So you want to run or relate to them in some way, and you want them to remember your presentation. You also do this by creating a sense of urgency. Right. When you're talking about your idea, your product or service, you want to stress that this is going to happen, whether you're with me or not, and I'm going to do it. So you might as well give me the money to do it because it's going to happen, and you don't want to miss out. Also, when you're pitching to investors, creating a fear of missing out is very important. So start off with your title slide, your company name, and your value proposition or your tagline or elevator pitch. So a lot of people say you have 30 seconds to capture your audience attention. Do that here. All right. So what do you do, for whom, and why you're better? So there's an old saying that say what you're going to say, or tell them what you're going to say when you're going to tell them, and then tell them again. This is your first interaction with the audience. So tell them what you're going to tell them here with what you do, who you do it for, and why you're better than the competition. Then go right into the problem. So this is a great way. This is a great place to engage with the audience. You can ask a question to the audience. So how many people have this problem? How many people stub their toe every day? How many people get wet in the rain? How many people have to walk to class? It's difficult to do that when you're not live, but for live audience, this is a great way to engage with them. Also, tell a powerful story. So don't just say this is a problem. Tell a story of the problem actually happening. Show a picture of someone having the problem. I'm a big fan of visual pitch decks, not wordy pitch decks. So try to use as many graphics as possible. And again, when you're describing this problem, stress that this way of doing things cannot continue. It has to change, and you are going to be the one to change it. Next, show your solution. So actually show it if you can. Have a demo. Have screenshots. Have a wireframe of your app, or a wireframe of your web page, or a drawing of your product. Describe it and explain how it solves a problem in a way that's disruptive. So how are you going to change the behavior by doing this? How are you going to take customers away from the competition and move them to you and really beat up the incumbent? All right. Don't use this slide as a way to stress technology. Do that later on. Again, it's your product or service that matters, not the technology that matters. Then go to your value proposition. So you've shown your product. Now, how is it better? What benefits does your customer receive from your product or service? Remember your business model canvas here. Value propositions can be qualitative or quantitative. They can be a pain reliever or a gain creator. So stress what it is. Again, I like the visual format, so I like these three visuals are going to be a repeating theme in my presentation because that's what I like to see. Your slide deck should reinforce what you're saying. It shouldn't take away what you're saying, take away from what you're saying. So again, these easy visuals are nice to look at, and they reinforce what you're talking about instead of taking the attention away from the reader or from the viewer. Then go to your market. So you don't need to show this TAM, SAM, and SOM market, but you do need to have a realistic market size, your beachhead market, and your obtainable market. And again, be specific here. So my quote, the Martian unobtainium mining industry is growing at 20,000% annually and expected to reach $2 trillion by 2156. That's a good quote. Something like that is what you should be saying here. The size of the market, how fast it's growing, and who's in your market. Next, look at your business model. So who are you charging, how much, and for what? Again, be specific here. All right, so who are your customers? What are their names? What are their demographics? Do you have a persona or a profile? Who's your target customer and how you're going to reach them? All right, customer discovery we can get into later on in a traction slide. But if you choose to remove the traction slide, then mention it here with how many people you interviewed, what they said, and what they're paying for, and how, again, what you'll be charging them for. You can add a go-to-market strategy here. So this is an optional slide. So who are you going to be targeting first? So your first customer with what version? Who's your next customer? What version of the product they'll have? Is it the same? Is it different? And then who's your mass market customer? And then again, was it an enterprise version of the product, the same product, new products? So you can add your go-to-market strategy here as an optional slide. Next is your competitive landscape. So who are your key competitors? How do you deal with competition? And what's your competitive advantage? So again, show that you are better than the competition. My quote here, the competition are lazy incumbents who couldn't innovate their way out of a box. All right, show that you are better than them. Again, use a graphic here. All right, I like the quadrant chart, but I'm going to show you a few options to deal with to show a competition slide. So here are a few competition slides that I put together. You can choose one or more of them depending on which fits your pitch deck best. The first is a comparison table. So if you have more features or better features than the competition and you have direct competition, then you can use a comparison table. If you have existing markets and again, direct competition against two ranges, so say it could be cost, could be high cost to low cost, low quality to high quality, reliable to more reliable, better performance, you can use an XY analysis graph. And again, show your competition here on the left, on the bad side, and you're up here on the top right on the good side for both of these. Right, this is good for quantitative value propositions as well. So again, cost is direct quantity, saving time, things like that. I prefer the quadrant graph. So this is more of a market position graph. So it's not for a quantitative range, but more of a qualitative range. So it could be personal to professional. Think of Facebook and LinkedIn. So Facebook would be personal, LinkedIn would be professional. It could be performance to luxury, young to old, individual to group. So this shows your market position and how you're differentiating from the competition. Again, you can use one or more of these as it fits your pitch deck. If you have new markets, you can use a petal diagram. So here you would put the customer segments or adjacent markets in each petal and the competition focusing on each one of those segments. And then your startup is here in the center of the universe. Another way to do a petal diagram is show the features or value propositions in each one of the petals and the companies that are delivering those features and value propositions. And then again, you're here in the center of the universe delivering all of those features and value propositions. Next, you can move on to a work plan or a roadmap. They recommend using a Gantt chart. Now, every Gantt chart that I've seen has not been accurate, and that includes professionally. So I don't recommend using a Gantt chart. I recommend using a roadmap, but they do want to see something to show that how you're going to progress this project. So there's a few ways to do a roadmap. A simple way is where you're starting, where you're going, and where you're going to end up. This is a great little step chart that you can use as a roadmap. Or you can use a three graphic method again. Again, this looks very good visually, and it doesn't distract from what you're saying. So you're going to start off in New York, then you're going to settle to the Northeast, then move on to national. Or you could be where you're selling. So starting off in boutique online, then moving to physical retail, then wholesaling, and then mass market e-commerce websites. So choose the roadmap graphic that fits your roadmap best. And I suggest using this instead of a Gantt chart or a project chart. Next is a traction slide. So this wasn't included in the original pitch deck, but this is incredibly important. All right, traction is critical. It shows that you are the team to get this done, and it validates your problem. All right, so if you have a minimum viable product, this is the place to talk about it. Do you have any early sales? How many customer discovery interviews have you done? How many letters of intent have been signed? Have you participated in an accelerator program or an incubator program before or currently? All right, so show your traction, because this is going to show that you are the team to get this done, which is one of the critical metrics in the rubric. Another way to do the traction, if you just have customer discovery, is to show the key insights. Right? What customer segments have you interviewed? How many of each one? What quotes or testimonials do you have that this is a problem? Again, you're validating the problem, you're validating that you have the right solution, and you're validating that you are the team to get this done. And traction shows all three of those things. Next is a financial slide. So a simple line graph or bar graph works well here. A brief description of what you're looking at, as well as the line graph. Revenue is the most important line here. So show your revenue more so than anything else. And you can get into the details in an appendix slide later on. Use of funds is another optional slide you can use. So how much money are you looking to raise, and what are you going to use that money for? So be specific. So we're going to use materials, designing, marketing, lab space, prototype manufacturing, and where you get these numbers from. Don't just show numbers. Explain what the numbers are for. To show that you've done your research and have a realistic number here. And also stress how this is going to help you accelerate and scale. So if I do all this, we're going to be able to move to the next part of the roadmap. We're going to be able to develop an enterprise-ready product. We're going to be able to launch our beta version from our MVP. So what is this going to get you? What milestone is this going to get you to? And finally, the last slide is your company slide, your team slide. So who's on the management team? So again, you want to focus on education because you are all students that are competing in this. Do you have any experience? Who are your advisors? What are their experience? And then any incubators or organizations that are offering you assistance. So anyone from UAlbany will have Blackstone Launchpad on their slide. From RPI, you might have Zerino Center. Siena will have the Stack Center. And anyone from those organizations that are helping you or advising you along the way. Again, I like the visuals going across. So this would be the Blackstone Launchpad team. Just a way to kind of show the team slide. Next, you have an appendix. So some people recommend having a very long appendix. Try to have an appendix for any follow-up question that you're expecting. Again, you only have 7 minutes, so you got to choose what to cover in your slide, but you need to expect certain follow-up questions. So you already did your revenue slide. Show how you got to that revenue and what your costs are, and maybe what your unit economics are in your backup slides. All right, you could also show an income statement going out 3 to 5 years of how much cash you're going to have, what your total sales are going to be, your cost of those sales, and everything else. All right, you can show that again in a chart or in a line graph, but be able to talk to this very well. This is also a great place to talk about your technology. So when they ask how you get this done, you already mentioned your technology a little bit, but you didn't get into too much detail about it. This is where you get into detail about your technology. Right. And finally, this is the rubric that they used a couple years ago. I think it's pretty much the same. So again, market opportunity, know your customer segments and market size, competitive advantage, what's your differentiation, how you're better than your competition. Management capability, you show this through traction. You're going to be able to succeed because you've already done something. You've already have some success and have some traction. Financial understanding, again, 3 years with revenue and your cost drivers being most important. Venture maturity, how much customer discovery have you done? Do you have any letters of intent? Your presentation, practice pitching many times. Pitch to anybody and everybody you can. Record yourself and pitch to yourself. You are probably your own most harsh critic. And finally, investment potential. So what is the scalability of this venture? And that's it for pitch prep. Hopefully I made it in my a lot of time. If you have any questions, please let me know.
So we can access these slides from somewhere too? Jeff?
Yeah, I'm gonna post
Okay.
everything. Yep, and I'll send everyone the links. And we'll get it out to all the folks at the universities and colleges to make sure they make the students aware that these informational sessions and the pitch prep is all posted on there.
Thank you.
I wanted to add one thing of what Rick was saying. As someone who started, when you started his venture, was super, super technical in pitching, don't be. Rick said it a few times. Nobody cares about how you're doing something. Is it a problem? And are you solving that problem? That's what they care about. And your technology is great. It may be the best, but they don't care as much as you do.
So I actually have a question for Maria, since the rules are new this year and since it's virtual. A lot of people recommend having 2 pitch decks, but you said that if the pitch decks don't match, that they might be disqualified.
Yeah.
Because there's a wordy pitch deck for someone to look at and read through, and there's a visual pitch deck to present while you're presenting it, while you're pitching it. Can someone have notes on their pitch deck that they submit, or does it have to be the exact same pitch deck word for word that they're presenting?
It should be the same. Let me see, is Bailey on? Bailey was on from Upstate Capital. I'll check and make sure, but it should be the same. The judges aren't going to view, they'll have the pitch decks, but really what they're going to base it off of is the presentation, the video presentation. The pitch decks are more for our, when we look into what the students have done, it's for our reference, but really what the judges are going to look at are the video presentations.
Okay. Thank you.
Yep. We'd love to answer more questions. Does anyone have any questions about pitching, about the specifics of the competition? Anything at all?
Bob or Bill, do you have anything you'd like to add to my presentation?
You just read my mind, Rick. I was just going to say that.
Rick, I think you did a fantastic job summarizing the key points. I think anything you can do to help make it your vision a reality, because ultimately it's in your head and not in the potential judges or investors' minds per se. So I think whatever you can do to help create that MVP, to be able to show something that produces some traction, helps make it relatable, urgent, a lot of what Rick really hit on. And the other thing I would say is also try to make yourself authentic to the best of your ability, that you're the right person positioned to run with this business if funded, that you have the skills, knowledge, and ability, and you are authentically ready, because often entrepreneurs are, I don't know if they give enough thought to that, the fact that investors are sort of betting oftentimes on the jockey per se, and not necessarily the horse. They're really investing in you. So having yourself come across as very, very authentic and excited and involved can really help with your pitch as well.
The passion definitely comes through. The more passionate you are about your idea, that's going to come through, and the judges are going to see that, and that's going to help your score. The other thing I'd like to mention is that younger classmen, freshmen and sophomores, often come to me and say, "I'm not ready to present. I don't want to do this. I'm too early. I'm not going to win." But think back to what Bailey said. It was his third time pitching that he won. So the earlier you get involved, the better your pitch will be. You're going to go through many pivots, and that feedback you get from the judges is going to help you with the right pivot. So you want to start presenting and competing early on in your college career, so that when you get to junior, senior, grad school, PhD, you're a seasoned veteran at this, and you're going to be that much better and that much more prepared, and that's what more likely to win these competitions when you start earlier. So please don't think that I'm too early, I don't have a good idea. That doesn't matter. What matters is you get out there, you get better. So pitch early, compete early, and you'll be much better positioned to win later on in your career.
And kind of building off that, Rick, the ability to say, we pitched last year and this was the idea, but we pivoted based on customer discovery is massive. It shows that you're right to do this. If you're able to look at your idea and say, that's not it, something needs to change, that's huge. It's huge in an entrepreneur. A lot of the time people get married to their ideas and never want to change. If you can take feedback from year over year and show that you've improved, KPIs, customer discovery, letters of intent, if you can get them, it's massive. It's massive, massive. It'll really help.
And just to piggyback on starting early, you're only as strong as your network. So the quicker you immerse, the better your network's going to be by the time you graduate. So I would say get started as early as possible and practice to a lot of different people so you hear different questions. The questions that you're asked are going to determine if you win or lose in this competition.
I'm just bouncing off of that. I agree as well, because I think that one of the big things that I learned at Ignite U was when people ask questions, they're not necessarily questioning you or your ideas. They genuinely don't understand. So if you can answer that in the next time you present, I think that's always been a point that I've had to struggle with, but had to learn as well, so that if there's the question out there, then you have to answer it, or at least you have to know the answers.
Yeah, I have a question on the teams in there. So if you are submitting stuff as an individual, because if it's part of your 698 or so, and eventually, like in a couple of months, you want to launch it with another partner in there, can you put that person in the team in the pitch deck? Like not like contributing, but name. So how you will get like more expertise?
For the competition specifically?
Yeah, just for the competition.
Yes, that's fine.
Okay. So I was just like wanted to double check, like if like I'm presenting something individually, but I might be launching it with my son in the city too. So can I put his name in there too? Okay.
Yep.
How will I get to a different market?
One thing you want to, be ready for a question like that is, okay, why are you pitching and what value does this person bring to your team? You might get that question of, you're the one pitching. Why do you need this other person and what value does he bring? Just be ready to answer it.
Okay. Yeah, because he is like kind of like in digital marketing or something.
I'm sure it brings a lot of value, but just be ready to say that and,
Yeah, since there's no direct questions, then I would make sure that you note that in your video presentation.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of times it's helpful to put like qualifications under the person's name, maybe like where they got their undergrad, where they're working, so on and so forth.
Yep, that's a good point, Bailey.
The other thing I recommend with the team slide is to put potential roles that you're looking to fill. So if you're looking to hire a CTO or to bring on a technical person, put a little graphic saying, we're currently searching for this part of our team. We know our team is incomplete, and that's why we're searching for this type of person. Technical person, a biz dev person, a financial person, whatever that may be. Put that graphic on your team slide to show that you're incomplete and you're trying to solve that. You're trying to fill that gap. I think that's very strong as well.
So we're trying to like get what value everybody's bringing and what do I need to make this business successful. So these are some open slots, and we know what the expectation and requirements is, but we don't have the right person right now.
Correct.
Probably stay away from saying we don't have the right person.
No, just like
Yeah, no, yeah,
conversations, yeah.
100%.
All right, if there's no other questions, give it a second. We're gonna wrap up. It's 2:00. Thank you again to everyone. Thank you to Yumi and Bailey, Rick, Bill, Bob. Thanks for presenting and providing insight. Again, if anyone has any questions, check back on the website. We're posting updated information on sponsorships and prizes. But again, all the information will be posted and is available on the New York State Business Plan Competition website, as well as the University at Albany Regional Business Plan Competition page. So with that, thank you, everyone. Have a great weekend. Be well.
Bye. Thank you, Maria.
Thanks, guys.